What turn of events has brought you so suddenly to Garreg Mach, Uncle?
Well, my business in the old Alliance territory had roughly finished. I wanted to see the face of my niece, who so bravely took Arianrhod. I have heard that it was done with truly magnificent tact, and that you even deceived some of your allies.
I'm happy to have earned your praise. However, to say that I deceived my allies is a bit misleading. I despise leaks of information, and there may have been a church rat hiding amongst our ranks.
Ah, I see. However, there are some unfortunate consequences. Cornelia surely planned to betray them, but she has been struck down. Truly wasteful meddling. Unless... was it your intention to kill her?
Indeed, we came only to kill our enemies. She used a terrible magic weapon. Dolls that she could move and fight with. Did you know about them?
Well now, if that were the case, would it not have been better to keep her as an ally? If you are only capable of such imprudence, this dark cloud might hang over the Empire's future as well.
Thank you for your concern. However, I will sweep aside any darkness that comes our way.
I will be praying. Praying that the Empire will not become another Arianrhod.
Another Arianrhod? Just what do you mean?
I must take my leave now. Farewell.
Lady Edelgard, there you are. We just received some truly shocking news. It is said that pillars of light have rained from the heavens and disintegrated Arianrhod.
Disintegrated?
Why would he do that? Was Lord Arundel just here? So that would mean...
Hubert, give me the full report.
My apologies. I, of all people, should be able to control my discomposure. The pillars of light descended and exploded, resulting in the complete destruction of the main building and the north wall. It is believed that all key people within House Row, including its leader, were killed. Of the Imperial officers and men we kept at Arianrhod, about a third are unaccounted for.
It can't be true. So, this is my uncle's trump card. In exchange for striking down Cornelia, he has destroyed Arianrhod.
Perhaps we acted too soon in our disposal of Cornelia.
No. If we'll be fighting them soon, there's no disadvantage to weakening their forces. It's also extremely valuable that we forced them to show their hand. Hubert, the investigation you made into the legend of Aelel, the Valley of Torment, this is likely what took place back then as well.
Yes. The probability is high. Yes, it is quite likely. North of Garreg Mach, there is a valley where the earth is always aflame. Once javelins of light fell from the sky there. He pierced the earth and set the forest ablaze, creating a land of torment. We believed it may have been the work of the goddess. But it was actually an attack by those who slither in the dark. That sums up all that we know.
By gifting us that knowledge, those who died at Arianrhod will not have died in vain.
Indeed. It would be good to control the flow of this information.
True. We'll conceal this from everyone as best we can. I trust you, my teacher. I'm sure everyone has heard about what transpired at Arianrhod. The Church has displayed their cowardice by indiscriminately using forbidden practices to kill the residents there. Their victims also include members of House Row, the Imperial Army, and many, many more.
According to our investigation, the forbidden attack that destroyed Arianrhod cannot be used again so quickly. Even so, we cannot delay our efforts. We must put a stop to all of this by the end of next month. The leader of one of the Imperial factions has already initiated an attack on the Fraldarius territory lost by Rodrigue. Soon all obstacles blocking our path to Ferdiad will have vanished.
A cornered animal is at its most deadly. We must move quickly. Next, we march through the Tailtean Plains. After that, we destroy Ferdiad. At that time, complete Imperial control over Fodlan will finally be a reality.
Oh, I'm shaking with excitement! Bring on the battle!
I understand that a confrontation is inevitable. Still, I wonder if there's some path we could take that would cause less suffering.
This is the only path for the goal we are reaching for. And so we must keep walking on it. We are walking down the path to a better tomorrow.
A cornered church? Well, count me out from any forbidden sorcery that can destroy whole cities. If only there was an easier way to get more information on crests and relics.
You are as negative as usual, Linhardt. We have but one order: to emerge victorious.
We're going to win this. We really are. After all, if we lose, everything will be terrible forever. Oh, no way! We can't let that happen!
There's a lot to worry about, but I'm sure it will all work out. We'll win no matter what!
Part 2. Crimson Flower. Great Tree Moon. Field of Revenge. With the capture of Arianrhod complete, the Imperial army moves to invade the kingdom capital. They plot to send troops toward now vulnerable House Fraldarius territory and plan to attack Ferdiad from two sides.
So, Arianrhod has fallen. Rodrigue, I swear that I will not allow your death to be in vain.
The scouts have just now returned. Seems the Imperial army is marching toward the kingdom capital. Are you certain about this, Dimitri? As king, do you think it wise to intercept them yourself?
No need to worry yourself. Even if I am defeated, the Blythed bloodline will live on. And the kingdom's territory has never been rich in resources. If the castle falls under siege, our loss is inevitable. I will deploy my army onto the plains and wait for the enemy. Please position your forces so that they can flank the Imperial army.
Yes. Given the present situation, making the plains our battlefield is a logical choice. I have no objection. However,
there is only one person I am after. I have no interest in any other prey.
I will take you at your word. Erasing the other child's existence is my task, and mine alone. I will get you back, Mother. I promise.
What do you think, Lady Edelgard? Will they shut themselves inside of Ferdiad?
They will try to intercept us. Of course, Ferdiad will not fall so easily. Even so, if we were to cut off their supply line with a large army, it would eventually fall. It makes much more sense for them to wager everything on a victory at the Tailtean Plains. The same plains where the so-called divine Saros defeated Nemesis, the King of Liberation, in a comeback victory over 1,000 years ago. And about 400 years ago, the hero Lugh created the kingdom by defeating the Emperor of the time on those very plains. Their goal must be to recreate that scene.
Yes, I suppose so. Although the Imperial army is powerful, if we were to compare the strength of our best to the best of the Knights of Saros, we would likely come up short. The Kingdom's army and House Blythed are also renowned for their unmatched persistence. On the battlefield, it can be assumed that their one and only goal will be to strike you down.
Are you telling me to stay off the battlefield?
Naturally. You are their aim, Your Majesty. You must know it only makes sense to keep you out of their reach.
And you must know that, at a time like this, I absolutely cannot withdraw.
Of course I know that. That is why I will refrain from asking you again to stay away from the battlefield.
The Immaculate One, descendants of the 10 elites, and other extremely fearsome foes await us. But with the help of our friends, we have a chance of defeating them. We're the only ones who can. Within our group, I am included among those with the kind of strength we need to win. I absolutely will not remove myself from the front lines. Professor, you have that same strength as well, whether or not you realize it yet. As Emperor, I must not die in this war, and it would be unacceptable to lose you as well. Until the very end, we'll survive this trial together. Understood?
They used to call my father the Shield of Fargus. Now he's gone, and Arianrhod has fallen. Yet the Knights of Seros remain, as does the Boar. What terrifies me most is his stubbornness. He'll keep on fighting to the last man. He's a monster. I've seen it firsthand.
The war is at its end. Has the time finally come that I might kill you? It is true. Those petulant fleas must be picked off one by one. They are nothing if not persistent.
I wonder what the captain would say if he knew we were planning to take down Lady Rhea. Lady Rhea and Captain Gerald went back pretty far. But hey, it's your decision. I'm sure he would have understood in the end. Now, onward to Ferdinand. I'm ready.
My heart burns with pride.
Before I left the church, I recall Lady Rhea saying something strange. Something about how she would recover her mother, no matter what. Do you think Lady Rhea's mother is buried in Garrick Mach or something?
Yeah. All right, off to the kingdom capital we go. I feel like I've said that before. All right, I'm fired up and ready to go.
How about Ferdinand, the kingdom capital? From the Empire's perspective, it seems like the northernmost edge of the world. I have come a long way following you in Edelgard. To think, what if I had succeeded Duke Eyre as Prime Minister? I would never have had all these experiences. I hope that is true. I used to be so naive. For now, let us join together and walk the path that Her Majesty lays out.
Hey, I could use a hand.
When I first enrolled in the Officers' Academy, I never thought it would come to this. I can't believe we're waging war. Against the church, no less. There are some things that I regret, but I don't think I made the wrong decision. Even if our enemy is Lady Rhea herself, I am prepared to fight.
Professor, what should I do? Everyone's acting like this is leading up to the final chapter in a book or something. Is the battle ahead really going to be that climactic? Am I not taking it seriously enough? You think so? All right, I believe you. I'm ready for this. I am. Yeah, we're going to win.
What do you say? I've been thinking about how we've got our own ideas about justice, and so does the kingdom. And what's coming? It's not just a battle between us and them. It's our ideals that are fighting. Whoever wins will say they were right, and the other side was wrong. And I get it, that's how it goes. But nobody's willing to talk or compromise, so we'll fight to the death to prove the other guy's wrong. It won't be an easy battle, but let's make sure we come back alive. Right, Professor?
Professor. I'm sure my father will be waiting in Ferdiad. If I can avoid it, I'd rather not fight him. But I don't think my father is capable of betraying the royal family. Of betraying Dimitri. I must be prepared to do what I have to. I'm all right. I still stand by my decision to trust in you. Professor, let's make sure we win.
If we win this battle, it will be an end to the kingdom and to the church. Under the Empire, an era of peace would begin. Many people are cleaving to this notion, but I wonder if it would really end up as such. Such resolve. It's convincing to say the least. I wonder, was the collapse of Arianrhod really the church's doing? Or could it be that... Never mind me. Just thinking aloud.
Pardon me. I have a fiancée back home, and I promised her I'd come back alive. No matter how tough the fight gets, I won't die. I have to survive and make it back to her.
I hear that House Blathid commands some strong and well-trained troops. People say they're fiercely devoted, and will gladly die for their king. Reminds me of Lenato's men, the ones we faced back in Magdred. Unlike those civilian soldiers, though, here we're up against the best that the Fargus army has to offer. It's going to be a hard battle, but if there's a peaceful tomorrow waiting on the other side, it'll be worth it.
I thought you were going to attack the kingdom capital, but you attacked Arianrhod instead? Well, you sure had me fooled. She's a tricksy one, that Lady Edelgard. But this time, you really are going for the capital, right? I wish you the best of luck.
Professor?
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. The time has finally come to set out for the kingdom capital, Ferdiad. I thought the same thing last month, but I still can't believe the plan was to ambush Arianrhod. I know it couldn't be helped, but even I wasn't let in on the secret. Me! Not gonna lie, that hurt a little. Ah, well, let's forget about that. I'm praying for your victory and your safe return.
Interesting. Seems like the war is gonna end soon. Once the dust settles, it'll be back to rolling in fat stacks of gold for me. Hey, how about a favor? Seems like the war is gonna end soon. Once the dust... Thanks a million. Thanks for having me. Time for business. Oh, wait. A tea party? I just love this kind of tea. Makes me happy knowing you handpicked it just for me. Thanks a million. Yum. Sold. 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 That's the way. Sold. Sold. You're not half bad at brewing tea. I bet you could make a killing doing this for a living. Sold. Hey, could you avert your gaze a bit? You're weirding me out. You like my duds? Well, they might look standard issue, but they've got... Oh, save the sales pitch for later? You've got a merchant's eye for quality. Thanks for treating me. Let's do this again, yeah? Professor, I have worries. What have I been achieving? When the war is ended, I will be returning to Bridget with much new potential. But have I had enough growth to become the ruler? I have gratitude. I will take your words into my heart. Bridget pride, techniques, and culture. I will be showing all of the world who we are.
Rumor has it, King Dimitri is always accompanied by a man from Dusker with a terrifying face. And what's more, this man is said to be so huge, he's often mistaken for a bear.
Claude was known as the master tactician. There wasn't a situation he couldn't strategize his way out of. Whereas King Dimitri is known as the Tempest King. He is a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. We still haven't ever faced him head-on. Can we do this? Yes, of course we can. I'm sorry. I let my uncertainty get the better of me. We have you, and we have Edelgard. Not to mention many other allies we can rely upon. Together, we can overcome even the most formidable foe.
That reminds... If the enemy forces come to intercept us, chances are high that we'll clash on the Tailtean Plains. The Tailtean Plains were the site of a famous battle in ancient times, right? That's what some book type at the library said, at any rate.
How about... Thanks. I'm glad I asked you.
The idea of defeating Rhea is beginning to feel more like a reality. Some may say that I'm returning her goodwill with betrayal, but I believe I've worked off my debt. The real problem is a certain someone else. That's right. She was my partner, after all. I haven't seen her since leaving the Knights. I can see her coming to slaughter me, driven by her mixed emotions of love and hate.
The Knights of Seros are led by the Archbishop herself, and the Kingdom Army is led by none other than the King. I have faith that the Imperial Army will prevail, but it still makes my knees feel a bit wobbly.
No. We're almost to the kingdom capital of Ferdiad. Just imagine, the war might almost be over.
But is it true that Arianrhod was annihilated? What in the world happened? What is the Saros Church, really? I always have, and I always will.
I see. Ah, did you want something? Sorry, I was a bit lost in thought. Or rather, I was thinking about work. My brother had sorted out all his personal affairs. But apparently he'd forgotten about his work duties. So now I've got a ton more work on my plate. Oh, brother, why must you be so careless? Once this war is over, I'm gonna take a vacation and get some well-earned rest. Back home with my mother.
Professor! Once you set out on your next mission, you won't be able to have a proper meal for a while, right? You should eat up while you can. Build up your physical strength to prepare for the mission.
Reminds me. Over 1,000 years ago now, not long after the Adrestian Empire was founded, the first emperor and his army, with the aid of Saros, set out on a campaign to the north with the aim of unifying Fodlan. Meanwhile, in the northern reaches of Fodlan, Nemesis, the King of Liberation, raised an army to take down the Empire. Both armies clashed on the Tailtean Plains, where Saros felled Nemesis. As a result, the conflict ended in a victory for the Empire. It's known as the Battle of Tailtean.
When you think of it, as one approaches the end of a war, the sacrifices only grow larger, don't they? The winning side musters their forces and attempts to strike a decisive blow, while those of the losing side make desperate attempts to turn the war in their favor. Neither side will give. I only wish we'd consider those who lose their lives in that struggle. I can appreciate that, but just because a choice is better does not mean that it's good.
Lord Arundel. As long as he exists, Lady Edelgard will... I believe I have explained before that he is the one who commanded the likes of Solon and Crania. Cornelia, whom we defeated at Arianrhod, was also one of his. An irksome sort. We must not fail to be rid of him. He is a maggot, crawling in the filth of the world, feeding off the Empire like a parasite.
When Edelgard first invited me to join this army, I, to be frank, thought her dream utterly ridiculous. But at my advanced age, I was tempted by the notion of chasing a seemingly impossible dream through blood, sweat, and tears. 5 years on, the unification of Fodlan is slowly becoming a reality. Now I feel it may soon be possible to abolish the nobility and create a world where none need suffer due to crests. You need not say anything. I will stay by your side, and hers, to the very end.
Professor, do you mind if I complain about something, well, personal? Of course you don't. This army is almost all single men. If that marital status came before or during the war, I'm not to say. The point is, I'm in charge of the infirmary. I wind up treating hundreds of men every week. I get to talk to all sorts of men from all walks of life, all of the time. And yet... No! Not one of these men is infatuated with their caregiver. Isn't that supposed to happen in wartime? At this point, you're the only man who pays attention to me. I guess I'll have to take what I can get.
This month, we will take all of the military force we can muster and advance to the kingdom capital of Ferdiad. I have no intention of retreating to Garreg Mach after we've come this far. We will only return after we've conquered Ferdiad and put an end to this war. Be sure to steel your heart and ready yourself for the battle ahead. Are you certain? If so, please help me raise the morale of our allies.
Professor!
Hey you, listen up. I've got something to report. The war is careening headfirst toward its grand finale. Do me a favor and get through this mess alive, okay? After the dust settles, maybe I'll go on to guard other entrances in other parts of the world. I'm a dreamer, my friend. Always have been.
Professor! The War of Fodlan Unification is finally reaching its climax! I must surpass myself in the struggle to come if Her Majesty is to recognize my power. But don't you see, your presence would diminish the grandeur of my achievements. The culmination of all my studies, all my magical experiments, shall be unleashed in battle!
So, it's finally time to take on Ferdiad. Can't wait to get in there and show him what I'm made of. Hopefully I get a go at that Dimitri guy before all is said and done. It's war, pal. If you can't be blunt on the battlefield, what are we even fighting for? He may be the Tempest King of Ferdiad, but I'm the Grappling King of the world! My domain is way bigger. Grab a front row seat if you can manage. These arms of mine will knock some sense back into that towhead of his.
If we win this next battle, it won't just be a victory against the kingdom, but also the church. Maybe they'll all die. Even the people from the church who lied to me and locked me up. I don't care either way. If they died, I would say, well, that happened, and move on. I don't owe them my compassion. They've never shown me any.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of people from House Road died in Arianrhod. I know Edelgard is saying it's the church's fault, and she hasn't been shy to express that. But that doesn't seem right to me. You should ask Edelgard or Hubert. They'd know more than I do. Some think that all we have to do is take down Ferdiad to end the war. But I don't think it's quite that simple.
I hear there was a pretty spectacular battle up there recently, but we don't hear a lot about that stuff. There was a lot of talk when it first started, but 5 years on, it's just a fact of life. What? There have been lots of battles on the surface recently? I hadn't heard. See what I mean?
Hey, word is, Garreg Mach's starting to look like a real town again. With the Empire winning one battle after another, it seems like the end to the war is finally in sight. There's hope for recovery now, even for Abyss.
Sounds fun! Let me show you my cooking talent. A little more secret spice, and... Hey! No peeking!
When the three of us sit together like this at the table,
Let me guess, we look as though we're plotting something wicked. You realize you're mostly to blame for that.
You never know if each meal together might be our last. I try to treasure these moments.
I get what you're saying, but you shouldn't be so grim. Let's survive so we can keep eating together.
There must be more to this.
I'm getting the hang of it.
I have a question. I see.
Professor!
No wall is too high for us to scale, now that we understand and respect each other.
must you be so dramatic? Let's just get this done.
Do not spoil it. Let me enjoy the moment, please.
For the two of us, this was only a trifle.
I feel the same, Hubert. The professor must be pleased with our glorious triumph as well.
Growth sustains me.
How best to use this skill?
I must continue to develop.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Ah, I finally get it!
Professor.
If you insist on inviting me here, I don't mind. I don't ordinarily drink tea, but in this case, I will gladly make an exception. Thank you. I prefer coffee. What? What? For choosing to walk this path with Her Majesty, you have my eternal gratitude. What? Yes, I wear a hidden dagger on my belt. How astute of you to notice. I prefer coffee. Thank you. This was more enjoyable than I thought. For the two of us, this was only a trifle.
I feel the same, Hubert. The professor...
The battlefield has much to teach.
Impressed yet?
I'm looking sharp, huh?